Tuesday, August 27th, market analysis. Stan Ehrlich. I start out with stock indexes, Spider, Dow, NASDAQ, Russell, and go to the futures. Interest rates, energies, grains, meats, metals, and some others. Now, as you guys know, I have been watching the stock market indexes, what I believe to be topping out, to begin a decline through September into the October lows. If you go back to 1993, there has been a buying opportunity in October, sometimes very mild, not particularly that great, and sometimes absolutely phenomenal. The low for months and months prior and for years, like October 16th, or was it 13th of 2022, the bottom of that bear market and the beginning of this one. Usually they're very important and very profound. The October lows have been over 90% of the time providing a buying opportunity during the month of October, and that's exactly what I expect again. Why not? I don't think it has a damn thing to do with the election year, although a lot of people seem to think so. Every election is different. They're all different, but the only commonality is the market tends to turn around in October. Anyway, we have a bearish engulfing a few days ago. It did get stopped out with a small loss. Today, we have a minor new low for a previous one single day, but not necessarily in the NASDAQ. It's made new lows for the last 6 days. That's good. But the spider is a little bit lingering up here. So momentarily, it's just about unchanged, up just a tiny bit, hardly anything. And the sooner it starts closing below 55.82-ish, the low of last week, Thursday, a bearish engulfing sell signal, the better. I'll be much more convinced that this signal has started something bearish. It looks a lot like the last one, which was very similar. The signal got bumped out the next day because of a minor new high, but as you can see, for a few days, it really didn't go anywhere, despite a really strong close on July 16th. But the next day, it started. Now, the next day, I think, is any day now. Coming down, breaking lows, and starting to get started on a trend down through September and into October. Next chart. And that would be the E-mini 5-minute. You can see it's basically been going sideways today, a little on the upside, but sideways yesterday, the day before, a little down, then back up sideways in general. The highs are all in the similar price range. The lows for the last few days are a little wider range, but similar. I think it's in the process of topping out. Next, and how far down will it go? Well, let's just see it start here, and then I'll talk about that in greater detail. Spider didn't quite have a bearish engulfing, couldn't quite muster it. I'm sorry, I am incorrect. We had a bearish engulfing on the 22nd. We are short. There's the trade line. It's a little bit of a loss. Our protective stop right there. You can see the details on the 1 minute. We shorted it as it made a lower low from the previous day at about 8:50 California time on the 22nd. The day trade scalp, that's redundant. The scalp, which is a day trade and vice versa, did very well, got on the close and made some profit. The same entry for the position trade for ER1 is still holding the position with a bit of a loss. So it's not out. Our stop hasn't started to come down yet because we haven't seen lower lows of any significance and other factors. So I'm waiting. QQQ. On the top of the market, we have an outside down day bearish engulfing. We are short ER3 from the next trading day when it retraced. And it is at the moment a profitable trade. And it has today made new lows for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 previous trading days, and maybe 7, but it's an awful close call, but 6 at least. Momentarily, it's barely higher. I think it's going to start to slip any old moment here and close below all the lows of the last 6 or 7 days. I hope, I expect any moment. QQQ, short-term chart. There's a little spike down. Looks like it touched almost exactly the low of 6 days ago and popped back a little bit. Trade line green, making some money. The scalp dotted green line made money on maybe it took 1 hour. Scalp on the QQQ, August 23rd. Next chart on the NASDAQ futures. We got the top of the market on June 20th. It was a short trade for a few days, made money. We got the top of the market so far, point blank, and that was July 11th on the QQ NASDAQ and NQ. And it was a great trade. And a couple of days later, we got long on a bullish engulfing. That was a great trade. Let's hope this is also a great trade. We're short from just last Friday. Thursday was the high of the market. We got a sell signal so far on the high day. Details, next chart. Shorted it on the rally, had a very small little loss for a very short amount of time. Did it slightly again the next day, but we are profitable at the moment. Not much, but profitable, even though the market's up a little. I'm looking for today's lows to be taken out and closed below today's lows, which is a minor support area, but it bounced off of it so far. Next chart, YM. We got the top of the market back on April 1st. We got the top of the market back on May 20th. We got the top of the market on July 18th. We got the bottom of the market back on April 19th, and we got the bottom of the market, almost the bottom, on August 8th. That's 4 out of 5 are exact highs and lows. The fifth one was close to the low recently, and we're still long. Our stop is now way up here protecting a profit. And my opinion is the same with the other indexes. It's about to top out and head south. If that's true, it's going to look like a double top. Of course, the downside breakout is making it below the lows in early August, early this month. Let's see what happens. Next chart. YM 5-minute chart. Fairly steadily going up. The YM has been very stubborn and hasn't really given me some signals or some clues. If I was looking at only the YM, I'd have to still be friendly, bullish. But I'm not. I'm looking at the other indexes, and they tell me some much different story. We got a buy signal in the Russell on August 13th. We got stopped out the next day because of some really weird activity, but made money. Now we're very close to overbought, but not quite. Couldn't quite make it to stay above the resistance area in red here. And I'm looking for this little nosedive today to continue south. Next, the Russell 5-minute chart, as you can see, broke a support line under most of the lows, if not all of them, yesterday. And then it tried to bottom out the same price twice today, this session. And remember, if people say today, they don't necessarily mean daytime or traditional trading hours from the stock market. They really mean this session, because in a lot of markets these days, they start the previous afternoon. That's the really beginning of the session. So if you're looking at a day trade, it's not really a day trade. It could have started yesterday afternoon and gotten out late today. The market, in some cases, is only closed like 1 hour. And the next session's 23 hours long. So looking for lower levels in the indexes. Bonds could have a little double top here. Stopped at a resistance line. Actually, that's a brand. Nah, that's not resistant. Yeah, it is, but it's something different. I'll leave it alone. I'm not going to talk about it yet. But as the next 2 months, month and a half proceeds, I'm looking for bonds and notes to come down into the month of October, and that's the beginning of the month, the end of the month. And that's a high price, low price. This range in time where I drew the green circle, because it could correlate with the October lows in the stock indexes. And then we have a much bigger pattern to talk about. Right now, we have a good head and shoulder bottom. Minimum upside objective is 140, but it could very well slip slowly back to its neckline, which is just above that circle. That's one of the reasons why I put the circle there. And the time frame, October, because of the October lows. So we'll see what happens here. I kind of think it's going to be a zigzag back and forth. Yes, they're going to lower rates a lot or little. Yes, they're going to do it 2 more times before the end of the year. No, once, maybe three. Yeah, back and forth with that kind of stuff. And notes, same thing. October circle, price range high and low, right on top of the neckline. Let's reformat this a little bit. Yep, that looks a little bit better. And this is also the shoulder low over here and the shoulder low over here. In the near month, month and a half, this could be part of a bigger pattern, but not quite yet. So the lows in October of 2 years ago may play a big role in this in the next approximate month, 2 months. We'll see. Okay, crude oil. Sharp rally yesterday, big break today, in a pennant formation. Support, didn't hold all that well, but the bull trend line did, the bottom of the pennant. And I could raise it up a little bit to make it touch some of these lows like that. That's not necessarily a bad idea, but it doesn't really help the situation much. I'm going to put it back down where I had it before, right across this little low fairly accurately. I could turn on snap mode, but no big deal. Now, natural gas. Oversold, possible double bottom as of today. And we need to see it start to rally. It is almost low and last right now. I wouldn't jump the gun. I wouldn't be buying. I would wait for some kind of indication the market's starting to swing back up again, but oversold and at a previous low, that's what exactly tends to create double bottoms often. Next, heating oil. Maybe a little bit of a bottom forming here. It's not very big. Even if it does form, I'm getting a rally up to 2.6, maybe just up to 2.5. This has been making lower lows over many months now, a year, basically, almost, and lower highs. And that's the basic definition of a downtrend, especially if it's a whole year. So I don't think support's going to hold. I'm looking for it to kind of drop into this green, very wide indeed, support area and see what happens next. A few days ago, it got oversold and bounced off the top of it. So again, it may be forming a little bottom for a few weeks or a month or two, and then lower after that. Gold stopped so far a little bit above this resistance line. Again, I could raise the line up to something like that, but I don't think that's an appropriate idea. If you're going to do that, probably just across these highs like that would be a little bit more appropriate. Actually, I very much like that. I'm going to leave it go just like that. So I've altered my trend line slightly more upward slanted, not exactly across this high like I had it before, but look at this. Stopped, closed at, couldn't stay above. I got above, but couldn't stay there. Started to moved down, but came back, stopped, and here we are today, right at that line again. Let's say this, if you sold short now, what's your risk? A stop in a new high ground? Fairly small. If you're right, and it does start to slip, it could go all the way down to this support line again, 2350. That would be very worth the relatively ratio-wise small risk. Okay, You're between a rock and a hard spot. It's overbought a few days ago. I think it's turning down, but it's not giving me what I want yet. Silver and platinum. I expect the silver and platinum market to turn around and start to head south because of complex head and shoulder tops that it formed. We went down about 2/3 of the way down and got a buy signal at the bottom of the market in silver. This rally is now overbought. It's not violated any rules. It could even go up and touch the neckline, which I doubt because it's so high up now. And it's already a little higher than I thought it was going to get up to. A few days ago, I thought that was going to be the high as it started to work its way a little lower. But now it's overbought. It wasn't then. That is a difference to me. So let's see it turn down and start to make new lows. The downside objective is way down here at 24. Next, platinum. Almost the same situation, not quite overbought, not even getting that close, but already a minor new low from yesterday, and I need it to close below 944 in order to start to come down faster. Into support again, and its minimum downside objective is 808, 809, 808. We have two buy signals in copper recently. I talked about them the day they happened. And if they happened after my YouTube, well, of course, the next day. We are still long copper if you used this particular kicker or input number to control the trailing stop. Now, I had been stopped out with a slightly smaller kicker, moving the stop a little faster on the low, almost exactly the low of the day, August 22nd. So I was showing you that trade, which made a little money. Until this morning, I decided to show you what can happen if you use a little bit slower kicker. Some people don't like that because it doesn't lock in a profit quite as quickly as a small kicker moving stop faster, but then you run the risk of getting stopped out maybe a little too soon. And with a larger kicker, you run the risk of giving away a little more of the profit than you would have liked, assuming it made money to begin with. Not all of them do. So I changed the kicker, period. So I cheated in the middle, if you want to call it that. But I'm telling you, I did it just to show you what can happen if you're using a little bit of a slower stop. And it's not a moving average. I don't like moving averages. They are always late by design, even exponential moving averages, even very short-term ones. I don't like them. I've been watching them since 1978. When CompuTrack, the original technical analysis software written for the Apple II Plus and the Apple IIe. I had both, two Apples, one at home, one at work. Anyway, with this particular kicker, looking real good, but running into resistance and overbought with a little bit of a gap up this morning, this is it. I think copper's about to top out. Next, soybeans. Now, the grain complex I've been very, very bearish on for a long number of months. We now have 2 or 3 weeks, give or take, depending upon what you're looking at, of sideways activity for the most part. And in a few of the grains, we now have buy signals. Yesterday, we had a buy signal in the soybeans. It's working at the moment. We are making a little money in the beans at this moment. We have a new high for approximately 2 weeks. Good. I think this rally, which started with the bullish engulfing, ER buy signal, green right there. Oh, yeah, I should have a green circle around it, shouldn't I? And there it is. Okay, sorry about that. So I'm going to rally, I believe, at least to 1015, and I think 1036 is not out of the question. There is a chance it could get all the way back up to 1104, 1103. Not so sure that's going to happen at this particular point. Probably needs a few zigzags back and forth on the way up if it's going to get all the way up there. Watch this closely. Grains could be bottoming out for a decent rally in what I still consider to be a long-term bear market. Soybean oil, a bullish engulfing. How about that? Last Friday. Is it working? Okay. I haven't messed around with the kicker at all. It's the default. We're still long. I'm liking the way this is acting. Just need to start making new highs again. Next, soybean meal. No signal, came into support, got oversold, and it's starting to work its way up. Again, I don't have a lot of faith in a lot of move up for a long period of time in the grains. They all look to me like they're going to rally some for a little while, and that could be a week or two or three or four, maybe a little longer, but not a lot in price, and turn back down again. The longer term, there's a chance that this could be the beginning of some other bigger pattern that you don't see enough of yet. Next, corn. We had 3 buy signals. None of them worked very well. Maybe a little money in the scalp trades. But we have exactly the same low today as yesterday, to the exact tick. And we have a higher high. So we almost had a bullish engulfing. And we almost were oversold. I don't think we quite got oversold. 25.38 and 25.16 is not 25 or lower. So not quite. Very close. Now we're coming back to the resistance. I need to get above, say, 401 to be a little more encouraged about more rally. And then maybe 420, and I'm not going to rule out 450. Next. But we got no signal in corn. Wheat, brand new signal today, now. ER1 scalp in progress, making some money. ER1 overnight in progress, making the same profit. I need to close firm, stronger the better, above the close of yesterday, or the signal will disappear if it closes below yesterday's close. Needs to stay above yesterday's close. We've got everything else. Go over the oversold for the last 3 days plus today. We've got the lower low, and it is the lowest low for the trend so far. That would be great if this was the bottom for a matter of a few weeks to a month or so. It could be. I see no reason why not. Rally up to a minimum of 550, which isn't much. And this is very plausible, 581, and maybe a little higher. Next, cattle. Bullish engulfing yesterday, and it's taking off like a bat out of hell today. We're up 28. Still long from yesterday's ER buy signal overnight, and doing fabulous. Got no problem with the way this is acting. This is really great. So far, so good. We didn't catch the low day for the move. But we got a good signal, and it's doing great. Miss Piggy, no signal. Not for a while. Broke above resistance, staying above resistance, making new highs. But we are running into this overbought situation, and it implies that the rally probably won't go on for much longer in time, and probably won't go too much higher either. So something below 84, I'm expecting. Maybe even this number would be a little more interesting. And it's today's high. How about that? Okay, so keep your eye on this. It could be turning down very quickly. And we're back to the E-mini, gaining more ground, not what I wanted, not what I like, and it looks like it's going to make a little bit of a new high. My protective stops are always in, always automatic, point blank. When you're using the strategy, that's it. You guys have a great trading day. Profitable trading to you.